Hello and welcome to Fix Your Space Time. In today's video we have an interview with Adrian, also known as the Spreadsheet Guy. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And also check out my Patreon page, the link will be in the description. Enjoy. Can you tell everyone a bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Adrian. You might know me as the Spreadsheet Guy. What I do is I try to predict Starship countdowns based on certain visual cues we see in the countdown, and try to get a sense how far SpaceX is in a certain countdown. I sometimes get that quite good. I sometimes get that really bad, but that goes with the nature of the event. Yeah, and I love doing that. It's a really fun thing to do. It involves a lot of numbers, and yeah, it's a really fun thing to try to outsmart SpaceX in trying to change the countdown.
Okay. You said that the visuals, that's how you predict it. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, like the main event, everyone is always looking for is the recondenser, the methane recondenser. We always see about 40 minutes before T0. That's why, like, when all the coverage starts, when all the people get excited for a static fire or a hop, and that's where my work really starts, because that is the first really hard fact that they're really fueling and really going into a countdown. And you can get a like an hint how long it takes from there, but obviously it gets more accurate the far along we are in the countdown.
Okay. When and how did you get interested in space and spaceflight?
A little bit before Falcon Heavy. I think like 2 or 3 months before Falcon Heavy, a friend of mine sent me a book about SpaceX, and I started reading it. And yeah, then after reading the book, I started watching SpaceX launches just because I was a little bit more interested. And then there was this Falcon Heavy launch, and at that time I didn't really knew about what is a Falcon Heavy, what is a Falcon 9. I just watched it, and then seeing these side boosters going down in sync and landing. That, I mean, how can you not fall in love with spaceflight after seeing that? So yeah, that was the point where I really got invested and really started to watch every single launch of every single company I could catch.
Okay. Do you think where where did you learn all about space and spaceflight? Was it self-taught or how?
I started with like many others, I guess, with Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut. That was my first really YouTube channel I watched about spaceflight. Then I started watching Scott Manley, also NASA spaceflight. I read the articles. Then you dig into books. You watch all these streams, and at some point it becomes really like a flow of information that rains. Basically all over you, and you try to catch as much as you can. But spaceflight is big, and I definitely haven't learned enough so far.
Okay, so all self-taught.
Yeah, definitely. I have no like rocket science background. I work in financials, so no rocket science there.
Okay. Do you think the present space exploration is a good idea, or do you think we should be focusing on things like climate change down on Earth?
I think it's I mean, you can do the one thing without losing focus on the other. I think, of course, climatic change, earth science, that is important stuff, and that is especially fighting climate change, that should be our number one priority. But it's also important to not lose these inspirational goals, these things that people really look forward to. And I think spaceflight is exactly that. You look at rockets, and they're inspirational. You almost get like goosebumps and tears in your eyes when you see a big crew event or a landing. And that we shouldn't stop that just because we need to do something else really important.
Okay. Would you ever go and work in the space industry, and if so, where? What company and what sector?
If there would be a funny opportunity, yeah, of course. But as I said, I'm a financial guy. I work in the financial industry, and there is not really a good crossover between these two. So I'm again not a rocket scientist. So not really easy for me to change to the space industry. But I can't deny that if there was a good opportunity for me to work at a space company, especially, of course, one of these modern companies, yeah, who wouldn't accept that offer? Of course.
Would you ever go and watch a Starship launch in person?
Yes, 100% planned. I want to go to Boca Chica really, really bad. Of course, since COVID is still active here in Europe, especially, it's not an option right now that I could watch something there. But later this year or maybe early next year, I would love to go to Boca Chica for like 1 or 2 weeks, maybe a bit more, and just hope that there's a launch in there as well, because it's amazing. I guess I heard from many people it's amazing.
Okay. What launches, if you have, what launches have you watched in person, if you have watched any? And what launches would you like to watch in person?
So far, I've seen none. Sadly, that's always the trouble with living in Central Europe. There's no launch site in near to me, so it would be quite a travel. But actually, I would love to watch Delta for Heavy with only a few launches left, and that rocket just looks really special. It's a really a beast of a rocket, and to go to these very very limited launches that are left, that would be cool. I would love to see Delta.
Okay. What's your plans for the future regarding making predictions on spaceflight? Will you carry on doing that, or will you stop?
No, I will carry on doing that. I love it way too much. I started doing this dashboard in which I try to include like weather predictions and NOTAMs and road closures. So you have this page on which you can go that is just one big overview about Starship. And of course, Super Heavy is coming up, and that will change the countdown. So that will be my next big thing, I guess, to try to predict Super Heavy and see how the countdown changes. And yeah, I will never leave that area as long as there is something to predict. 100%.
That's all the questions I've got for you today. Thank you so much for coming on here and answering my questions.
Thank you a lot for having me. It was fun.
Cool. And I hope you have a good rest of your day.
I wish you the
Bye.
same. Goodbye.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.